Feel better though?
I feel a little bit better. I'm not quite there yet. I
Yeah.
also got a tetanus shot this morning because I accidentally
Mhm.
stabbed myself with something, and I haven't had a tetanus shot in a while. So I had a shot.
Tammy,
I had actually 4 shots today.
my goodness. I am
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
Four
okay.
shot. Okay. Then
Hmm.
we'll just hang out on this live for less than an hour this time. How about
You probably
that?
jet lagged too, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, yesterday was a very hard day. I had like this buzz and um I can't explain the type of buzz it was, but it wasn't a good kind. Um um and it was funny when we got back. So okay, side story for those who are getting on, I should start from the beginning. Came back from Scotland yesterday, went
Amazing.
to this amazing wedding. Our two friends that live here in Oregon decided they want to get married at a castle,
Why
Craigmillar
not?
Castle in Scotland, which I have to tell you was like a fairy tale. Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland is a fairy tale. Is where J.K. Rowling is from, and so you see I see why she created Harry Potter world the way she did because
Hmm.
walking in a city center in different parts of Scotland, you definitely get Harry Potter vibe. So this wedding was in this castle, and as we're walking to the castle, we've been dropped off, and we're walking. You hear like bagpipe, but we didn't really think much of it, right? We're just like, oh, it's a wedding. You just kind of hear music play as you're walking in.
Right.
But it only occurred that there's a bagpiper or bagpiperist literally on top of the roof playing the
That is
bagpipe.
so cool. You have a picture on that on on our Insta, right?
Yes, so I posted a bunch of stories because many people were like, "You don't post much. You should post all these things, including you, Tammy." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I will like do some videos." So yes, Scotland. I didn't have many videos of that just because it's a friend's wedding. I didn't want to invade on that special situation, and but I did. I think I posted one or two pictures. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we got back yesterday after a hellish airport experience because we were delayed leaving the airport in Scotland. So then we were supposed to land in Eugene at 12 a.m. basically, Sunday, yesterday. Instead, we landed in Seattle and drove to Eugene for reasons I don't even want to talk about, but we did it. We got a rental car and made it here at 5 a.m. instead. So at 5 a.m., which is usually what time was that in Scotland? I think we were 7 hours ahead. So it's like daytime there, midday. So somehow I'm like alert for that, but then my body is also fatigued and wants to shut down because we've been traveling all day. So I took Benadryl, ended up sleeping for almost 12 hours and
Nice.
then woke up, ate some food. When I got food, still didn't feel good, and then went to bed like later in the evening. And I feel pretty much better today. Right now, it's like midnight, close to 1 a.m. there, so I'm feeling kind of tired,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm good. I'm gonna have to force myself to stay up today. Yeah, so that's my story.
That's your story. And you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it, but I recommend it if you haven't been out there. It's such an amazing, magical place. So the whole trip, we started out in London. So we got to London a couple of days before the Queen was, on her way to her final destination. And so it made things difficult in like trying to do different activities. I mean, none of this was planned. Our trip was planned long before
Mm-hmm.
we knew. So we went in knowing things are going to be kind of tough, So London was nice, but it was challenging. And then the next place we split. A bunch of us were out there in Europe, so we all split. But the next place I went to was Ireland to go see my family, and that was nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
um, yeah, but that was like a quick trip because we had to head out to Scotland. So then Scotland was where we stopped, and now I'm back here
Now you're back here,
doing it
adjusting
live.
back to your regular schmegular life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, regular, degular, schmegular life, which is fine with me. I need that kind of life so I can run around in airports. Yes.
Uh, cool.
Well, I have something to ask you, Tammy,
Uh-huh.
because you said you're like in your mom's room and you've been we've been watching the Dementia Diaries every Friday, and there's so much more to like be posted. How's your mom doing?
Um, Great question. It depends again on the day, just like when she was
Mm-hmm.
here. Her moods were very varied, if I could say it that way. You can never expect it to be one way or the other. You just have to be flexible. So I think it's been a really good adjustment for her. She's eating with people and she's always saying, well, I'm helping those other old people, which is hilarious. um,
Okay.
yeah, so she has a pretty at first she had a pretty busy schedule. But now that schedule, she's kind of in the routine of the schedule. So things have kind of calmed down for her and not everything is new like it was before. So I feel like she's getting more bored than she was initially. But she still has way more human interaction than she did here and lots of activities that she enjoyed. I have noticed that I don't even know how to explain her memory now, but um, it's it's almost like all of our time is like kind of meshing together in like one mashup. And again, I'm not explaining this correctly, but so if something happened like 2 days ago at a certain location, she'll apply that and it like twists and turns into a different location in a different time frame. And
Yeah.
and she's and it's I can't even explain it. It's weird. It's something that I haven't noticed when she was here as much. So she feels
I
like she's
see.
been there for a very, very, very long
Long
time.
time.
She doesn't really remember living here, which was only about a month ago that she moved, if even that. And I've realized for myself, I have a harder time coming up with things to talk to her about when I do visit because she specifically only talks about like 3 or 4 things. Here it's like if things happen, I talk to her as it goes. So I'm always like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
What's going on? And she always talks about the same things every time I go. So it's been a little bit more difficult to keep that relationship where it was because it feels
Mm.
totally different now because I'm not living the day in and day out with her. But even when
Yeah.
she does talk about that, the stuff that she's going on currently, it's only those few things that she keeps talking about. And we've already talked it out and through every single time I visited. So
Yeah.
that's been a challenge that I can't really express or explain. It's just so odd. But overall, she is doing very well. She's making lots of friends. Um, she loves the food. She absolutely loves the food, which is something that I was struggling with here because she started to get so picky about food. She'd kind of eat like a toddler. So she is eating healthy now, and she's enjoying that companionship when she's eating with others. So it's been a little bit of a different
Yeah.
dynamic than it has been when she's been here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Mm. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
Depending on like the first week that she was there, I think I visited her 5 days out of the week. And I think that was more for me to make sure she was
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
like the following week I visited her 3 times and now I'm down to basically 2 times a week visiting her. And I try to get her out because she is in a locked unit. And that sounds awful because my mental health
Mm.
brain is thinking locked unit as in, mental health stuff.
Oh, for
But she's
sure.
in a locked, yeah, she's in a locked memory unit and it's coded
Mm.
for people to move in and out. And so she can never go anywhere on her own, Well, I think I've talked before, and I've had some videos before of her walking around in our neighborhood, and she really enjoys walking. That's her favorite exercise, and she really does love to exercise. So that's been a challenge because she doesn't really go for walks anymore. So one of the days of the week when I do visit her, and it still has been very nice here, I will go get her and we'll go take a walk and we'll get some ice cream and drive around, at least get her out of
Mm.
that environment for a while. But even then, the conversations are still the same. So I'm like, what do I talk to her about?
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's a big transition for you and for her, and
Hmm.
seems things change for her very rapidly at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So, I, it, yeah, I can imagine what your experience is like, and I appreciate you sharing a part of your world with us through those videos.
Hmm.
I know I haven't met your mom in person, but boy, do I feel so connected to her.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of personal, I mean, from people who I know that follows us on our channel. I've been getting a lot of text messages and emails about how it's been very touching and how they can relate
Hmm.
to their loved ones. And I'm like, put these comments in our YouTube. It's, that helps our stuff out. But the feedback that I'm getting is very, very positive.
Yeah,
There is a person where my mom is at, and she is very interested in continuing to watch these types of videos and presenting it to the company of where my mom is at to see if they might be interested in sponsoring us or having some ads on here about
sure.
dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. So that's been exciting. Um,
Yeah,
but the other day I went there. Sorry, I'm talking so much about this. The other day I
that's
went there to
okay.
talk to that main person, and I said, "Can I ask you a question? It seems like my mom really as isn't as bad off as the other people who are here. I don't know if it's my perception or if this is accurate." And they said, "Actually, she is the highest functioning there." And then I'm like, "Okay, so to me that feels like she doesn't need to be here." And so I started that conversation with her, and it was I don't know if it was good to clarify it, but they did say, yeah, she definitely has a lot of memory issues. And I know that. But when I compared her to the other
The
people I
others.
think there, I'm like, I feel like somebody else could have taken her spot, that she didn't need it. But they assured
Mm,
me that and I know she's in a good place, but they assured me that, this disease, obviously we know that this disease is never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And so at least she's here. She's getting used to the schedule, used to the people, used to her apartment before she really kind of mentally checks out more. So that was an interesting, painful, but a good conversation that I had to have, because in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't know if my mom is really supposed to be here yet. So, and some of that could be
hmm.
denial on my end too. So,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, comparing, right? And
mm-hmm.
that's one thing that we definitely talk about in the clients that we work with, dementia
Right.
or no dementia. It's you don't compare what you have with someone else, because then you're gonna discount your
Right.
experience, right?
Yeah.
So that could be where that's coming from, but I'm glad that they reassured you that she is in the right place, because I'm sure they did the screening and they determined
Yes. Yep.
her
They did.
placement, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's a
Which I was there
transition.
for. So that was, sorry, which I was there for when they did that screening, and I'm getting ready
Yeah.
to edit that video. So
Okay.
that's been interesting to see how they assess for something like this. So
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely proud of you. I know you and Rob have been troopers, and all the dogs and the cats too. It's one
Yeah.
big happy family.
Yeah. Now it's just the
Yeah.
downtime. When I come home, it's like I don't have anybody to fix dinner for, or to get coffee
Mm.
for in the morning. So it's like those routines are still being made, because before that took up almost, it felt like every second of my time. So I have a lot of
Yeah.
downtime, but I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
You hold on to it.
Yeah,
You
I
hold
need
on
to
to that
enjoy it.
downtime.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because I know you're on the go, 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 go. You
I
already
am.
have
I so am. Yeah.
a draining, job. You enjoy it, but then to
Mhm.
also have your mom who needs all of you, that's a lot. That has
Yeah.
been a lot for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A fun thing that somebody did say in the very beginning of this when we were looking at different places for mom to possibly go, and I think it was a lady that I talked to the other day at Newton Village, but she's like, this is going to be good for you because you can move back into the role of being her daughter and not her caretaker. And that was huge for me. And I remember just the shift and how I felt like right before she was getting ready to leave. I was really, really sad, probably even borderline depressed because I was feeling that, gosh, this phase of my life is over. Uh, so that's been a challenge, but it has been nice to shift out of being a caretaker and more of like, this is just my mom. So that's been feeling a little bit different and better as well.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. But also remember how you had to shift from daughter to caretaker. That
Yes.
was a thing in itself. And then
Yes.
now you're having to go back to caretaker to daughter. So
Mhm. Yeah.
give it some time.
Lots of shifts. Yes. Yes. It's a process.
Yeah, well, I
And
definitely
we all go
appreciate
through
you.
changes. Yeah.
We do. We do. And that's the name of your company.
Yes. This is a season. It's going to change. It's my
Going to
motto. Yep.
change. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm definitely glad that you're getting some feedback from friends and family about those videos because, yeah, it's been very eye opening just to see um, what's going on in that experience. And yes, I want to encourage our friends and our families who text us because I do get some text messages too. And I know people are shy about
Yes. Like,
commenting.
can you convert this?
Keep texting us though, but we
Yes.
need some of that information in our comments too because we need to have some interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So please and thank you.
Yeah. I had a very distant cousin that we've never really grew up together, but recently we reconnected, and she sent me a text today saying that this last video that I posted, she learned so much about her Aunt Dorothy that she didn't realize that she missed out on because she didn't grow up with her. And she's like, I feel like I know her. She said almost the same thing that you had said. And then, but the one feedback that she gave me is, you know how sometimes I'll write stuff on the screen. She's like, she's older. She's like, I really need you to make it either longer or slower so I could read it because by the time it goes across the screen,
It's
I
gone.
have no idea. And I'm like, that's good feedback. Thank you. So
Yeah,
stuff like that really helps us out, you guys. If there's something that's not working for you or something that you feel like that we can do differently, let us know. So we'll definitely
hmm,
try to accommodate those things. So that makes sense to me.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I know we go through like with editing, we watch it countless times and then we know what it is. So unless someone tells us like, hey, did you know this isn't like really working for us,
Right.
then we won't know.
With fresh eyes, yeah. Because I know
Right.
I like glance over things. I totally, because we have listened to it or watched it and we created
Hmm.
it, that we're not paying attention to a lot of those things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, an extra pair of eyes is definitely helpful.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm looking down and I just remembered something exciting since we're doing these catch ups once a month. Something exciting for those who don't know, Tammy and I were on the 5 o'clock news,
Yes.
not because we've done something wrong.
Ah,
Yes, we
yes.
were on a segment, the local news here in Eugene, a local news, and the segment is acts of kindness. And
Mm-hmm.
so we got interviewed by John Viev, and they came over, interviewed Tammy and I, and asking us about like therapy talk, how it started, and why we do what we do. And it was such a fun thing to have done. It was different.
It was fun.
Yeah. What did you think?
It was interesting to see them put it together because I know like how they were in your location and I was on, I think, Zoom or whatever, and I was facing away, but you were still over. You were like by my shoulder, and occasionally you would turn back and
Yes.
look at me. And I was really interested to see how they were going to put together, and it looked as if it was, that I was like maybe in next to you on the other side. So I felt like they threw it together really, really well.
Yes.
Um, the check at the end, my reaction, I'm like, oh my gosh. But the check at the end was such a blessing, and it was such a shock that I
Mm-hmm.
that was just so there it is. There's the said
Yes.
check. Yeah. Publishers Clearinghouse style.
Heck yeah. Biggest check I've ever held up.
Yep. So I thought it went well. I thought we both created some really good stuff, and I think it got projected really well too. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Especially like we interview people, but to have been interviewed in this way and for someone else to bring their camera and to hook us up with stuff and ask us questions that we didn't think about was very
Yeah.
like different, and it gave me like some insight on how some of the people feel when we interview them. We're like, hey, we're cool people, we're fine.
Right.
Like, no need to be nervous. I was absolutely nervous at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I was too. Yeah. It was good to be on the other end of that and get to feel the hot seat like probably some of our
Hmm.
guests feel. So yeah, that was a humbling experience for sure.
Yes. So thank you, guests, for your patience and your vulnerability in having us interview you, asking you all these questions. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, what questions do we have? Were we like we're just talking about, I
Yeah, we're
guess,
just
catching up?
hmm
Oh, here's a question. So our famous chef, right? Chef Josie. If you said that in your head, you're right. That's our famous chef.
famous chef.
She she says, "How can I cope with long layover at the airport with a hurricane on the way?" Oh boy.
Oh, is that where she's at right now?
Yes, I'll give y'all some
Oh,
a quick background. Chef Josie is currently in Florida. If you've been watching the news, you know Florida is going through what they usually go through, which is a hurricane,
hmm
or hurricanes. Right now, there's one that's happening in the location where she is that has put her section of the town in a one like evacuation. I'm saying the term wrong, but basically, if you're level one, evacuation level one, you're the ones that need to evacuate first.
Oh, so that's the severity of it.
Yeah. Well, not
Gotcha.
the severity of the hurricane, but more so your location,
Yeah,
depending on how close you are, then you need to
gotcha.
up and leave first. So,
Oh,
okay,
how
yes, she said
scary.
zone one. Right. So I was talking to her this morning and I'm saying, like, we were watching like a clip of what's happening. I called her, I'm like, hey, did you know? She's like, oh well, I plan on going to the beach, all of that, and I'm like, okay, but there's this thing happening. So sure enough, she gets the message from where she's saying that she needs to leave with a few hours notice. And
Yeah.
so I was like, you should go to the airport. She's not scheduled to leave until tomorrow, and the
Yeah.
hurricane apparently isn't landing until tomorrow. So that's her situation right now. She's having a long layover at the airport. So she wants to know, how does one with a long layover?
That's a very good question. Is she feeling safe right now, currently?
Yeah, Chef Josie, are you feeling safe? Let us know. I know for a fact I don't like sitting when I have a long layover,
hmm
and walking helps,
Yep.
just like we would to just walking for anxiety, walking for depression. I know walking does help, especially like in airports where you're either sitting to get on the plane to sit down again. I would totally try to do some walking
Yeah.
and stretch too. I
hmm
usually carry my, which is my favorite. I'm gonna get off screen for a second. We've talked about this a very
We
long time
have talked
ago.
about that.
Yes,
Yes.
I travel with it, so it's one of my favorite things because muscles get tight.
So
Yeah,
you like put it on, you like roll it on your
I
muscles.
roll it. Yeah, I would sit on it, like my hamstrings especially, and kind of move it around, and then put it like run my feet over it too because it's spiky. It feels really good.
Yes, I
Um, yeah, this is like my favorite tool here that I travel with. So
you need to review
we
that on our Amazon review.
oh, okay. I got this from Walmart, so it'll be a Walmart review, but I'm sure you
Walmart
can find
review.
this on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, ma'am.
I
I
would
will do a
say,
review.
sorry, I would say too, it's just like any kind of distraction. So walking, reading, listening to music, maybe journaling. If you're a people watcher, just some of that too.
Oh,
Stretching, making sure you're staying hydrated. Um, those are some things I think when I've been in long layovers or take naps if you can. But
mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
really crowded too.
Yeah, I wonder. She says, yes, I feel safe. Maybe I'll take an airport tour. So you're you're right on it. Also get some food,
Yep.
um, have dinner, but also purchase some extra food to have when the airports close or the, food places close. Get some water, find the evacuation
Ooh.
rooms because airports are kind of like land. They have evacuation sites. You just need to find out where it is.
Hmm.
I suggested to her earlier, go ask about a cot because people sleep at airports.
You can
So,
ask for cots at airports?
yes, you
I
can.
didn't know that.
Yeah, those exist.
That's good to
Yeah.
know. I could have used that a
Hmm.
couple times.
Yeah. If they have it, I've seen it, and I know it's something that is offered at some airports. I don't know if it's all of them, but
Right.
that's something.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, here's a fun one. I can also catch up on some therapy talk episodes."
Of course.
Yes, yes, you can. I told her to get on this live today too because you got time, sis.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yes,
interesting. Well, I hope she gets out okay and on time and it's not too
yeah.
too
I
bad.
know it's a natural disasters. I know we're talking about this with just Chef Josie, but natural disasters is a form of trauma, whether you're in it or you're hearing about it. For those who watch the news often, you can actually traumatize yourself if
Sure.
you're
Yeah.
overexposing yourself to these things.
Hmm.
So I just want to put it out there. Not, I know we're laughing here too, but at the same time, this is scary. Your Mother Nature is Mother Nature. She's gonna do what she wants, and so um, do what you can to stay safe. If they say evacuate, evacuate.
Right.
Like figure out what that looks like for you.
Yeah.
And deep
Good
breathing.
advice.
Definitely some deep breathing.
Well,
Yes,
Chef
catch up on
Josie, I'll
all.
be praying for you and everybody else that's stuck out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
I was wondering, speaking about Chef Josie, I would love to see her do a cooking bit. Maybe talk while she's cooking. I don't care what she cooks, but I've seen her
Yes.
photos on Facebook and
Uh-huh.
Insta. And I'm like, dang girl, I would love to see her live in action, cooking, baking, decorating, something. I think that'd be very fascinating.
Agreed.
Yes.
Absolutely. We plan on actually doing an episode of her. I wanted to interview because when we did the Seattle video, we had a comment that stated that how did she start,
Yeah.
her interest in that. So I was gonna interview her in her kitchen, her new kitchen she has, and kind of interview like when did you get started, your interest and all of that as she's making me a delicious meal.
Right.
But we ran out of time and we couldn't do that. And
Hmm.
so I think that would be a great episode.
Absolutely.
Um, so Chef Josie, you're out there, you hear us. We will be we're well, yeah, we need to figure out what are you gonna make because Tammy and I are gonna interview you. Maybe Tammy is gonna see you, maybe you come see Tammy, I'll come see you, and you cook
Hmm.
and we figure it out and it's gonna be
You know
great.
what would be fun is if we did like a live tutorial. So she's showing us and she gives us all the ingredients. You have all the ingredients. I have all the ingredients. And we just kind of do this collaborative thing. That could be fun.
Yes, wasn't that like something that went on during that like peak
Oh, yeah,
quarantine
yeah,
time,
yeah, definitely.
right? Yeah, we should bring that back.
Yes.
We
I
should
could use
totally
some
bring.
cooking lessons for real.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. I've also like we've talked about pantries, and I've told her like, hey, have you ever like considered like talking about the must-haves in your pantries?
Absolutely. That's fun.
Yeah, like she told me you should always have cornstarch. I'm like, okay. And she explained why, and I've used it multiple times for that reason. Cornstarch because it's a thickener. You can make some type of like soup, and if the soup is too light or whatever it is, or too watery,
Yeah.
cornstarch will thicken it up for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, I know
Chef.
what it is, but I don't really have it readily available. But I don't really cook foods I would probably put that in. But
That's why I didn't have it either,
yeah,
but
but
it works for that. Yeah,
explaining that, yeah, that would
it
make
makes sense.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it can make some of your foods crispier. I've even battered shrimp with it. I cook shrimp multiple ways, and girl.
It's my favorite. When I
Oh,
travel
here she.
anywhere near a coast, I have shrimp for breakfast, lunch, and
Mm,
dinner, and everything in between.
okay, I didn't know you like shrimp like that.
Oh
Now
God,
I
I
know.
love shrimp. And
Okay,
I'm landlocked, so we don't get good shrimp here. So
I
anywhere
don't
I
even want to
travel,
know where you get your shrimp.
it is all about the fresh shrimp.
You had sushi the other day,
I did.
and
Yeah,
you
and
liked it.
I did, and actually, that's my plan for tonight for supper. I'm trying a new way to eat. It's actually been working very well for my husband and I. It's basically, I think you're on it. It's the land and sea kind of diet ish, Mediterranean
Okay,
ish, but it's like cutting out most of preservatives,
I
no
see.
no sugars or minimal sugars, but just fruits, vegetables, and lean meats, and a lot of it is seafood. And I have been feeling so much better. I don't have hardly any inflammation pain like I used to have when I would
Mm,
eat crap, and it's made our meal prepping really well. And as a matter of fact, we would go off of it a couple times a week just to like treat ourselves. But then the
yeah.
way our body feels after we eat that said meal, it's like it's not even worth it. So I really feel like it's definitely become
Mm,
a lifestyle and not a diet anymore. And
yeah.
yeah, I eat way healthier. So yeah, sushi is a treat, even though it comes from like a grocery store here. We don't have any sushi restaurants where I live. But yeah, I had a one bad experience and I let that be my bad experience for a very long time. And I'm like, this is kind of silly. Let me try it again. I don't know why I let myself not have it.
Not.
And then
Yeah.
I had a really good experience. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I implemented it back in my diet and I probably eat it about 2 or 3 times a week now. So yeah, I'm a sushi
Yay.
person now.
Yes. That's like a go-to meal. And yes, having sushi at a grocery store may sound weird, but depend some grocery stores do make very good
They make it
sushi.
on site there. Yeah.
Yeah, like we can't count them out. I know there's one Winko. I haven't not tried Winko sushi, and I was told it's good. So one of these days I may have to give it a chance.
Yeah.
But yes, it's I like that. But we have to think about inflammation. Like there's so many things that inflame
Ugh,
us that we don't know about.
yes.
And yeah, I don't eat certain things just because I can't tolerate it. I will love to eat cheese, like Well, when I was in Europe, I did eat cheese because I don't have that reaction that I get here.
Yeah.
Like, period. So I consumed a lot of cheese and I felt fine because they do something magically different there than we do here.
Yeah.
Um, but inflammation, boy, like that impacts us in more ways than we think. Like mentally, because you're going to be in pain. When we're in
Hmm.
pain, we're going to be irritable. We're also going to be like sad or like, frustrated about it, and it impacts our
Definitely.
mood.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you found something that feels good and it's
Hmm.
working for both of you.
Yeah, it is. It's working really well. Yeah.
Sweet. Who's that over there? I hear footsteps.
Oh, yeah, it's both my little dogs. My big dogs are outside. So I have
Aw.
Piper's right here.
Hi, Piper and Ziggy.
Piper and Ziggy. Yep.
Well, Chef Josie says maybe we can ask people what they would like to learn to cook a Thanksgiving episode. Hmm.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen her photos of pecan pies. I would love to
Tis the
learn how to
season.
do that.
That's my favorite pie.
Yes, I saw her pictures that went, I think it was last Thanksgiving. I'm like, dang, girl, can you send one to me?
Hey, closed mouths don't get fed. Tammy needs a pie. Pies can ship well. Yes. So yeah, let us know. What do you want? What content do y'all want us to create? Like we have so much content just waiting for y'all. That's why we're posting a lot throughout the week, at least 3 videos a week. Is there
Hmm.
something very specific that you want us to do? Because this season 4, I can't even believe it's season 4, it's all about you, our guests.
Yes.
So we are gonna keep finding people to interview, um, which I don't have anyone in mind right now
So good
for
segue.
my, yeah.
This last week we had a community event with businesses, and it's called Thanks with Franks. And a local grocery store gave each booth 100 hot dogs. I hate hot dogs. 100 hot dogs and 100 buns, and we had this theme that we had to have. Well, I have the Seasons Change. Let's talk about your feelings shirt. So
Yes.
we had some of that theme going on. So we had a booth, and I decided to have a drawing for some of our t-shirts, some Seasons Change t-shirts and some Therapy Talk t-shirts. But they had to fill out a questionnaire as part of their drawing for a t-shirt. And some of my questions were like, which social medias do you follow the most and why? um, which media outlet do you look for mental health content? And are there any mental health subjects you're interested in, want to learn more about? So I actually had quite a bit of people fill out these sheets. And underneath it, I said, do you have anything related to mental health that you would like to have an interview or share with our audience? Or even a snippet of like what does mental health mean to me, to go off that series? Or if there's anything on dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive stuff that you have a story related that we could do. And I got a really good feedback. I have a list of probably 12 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is,
Yeah.
who's actually interested in doing some sort of recording. So I have to reach out to them. But the fact that they were like, yes, I am willing to do this, and I have an important message to share. So that's been really encouraging. Yeah. So that's dual diagnosis is one of the content somebody wrote. They like to know about
Okay.
mental health meds, um,
Okay.
alcoholism, substance abuse, are interested in some information like that. Another one says they would like to know how people just deal with their mental health issues. And of course, we have a lot of coping stuff on our things. But anyway, yeah, I just have a lot of good feedback. So I think
I
that'll be
think,
fun.
yeah, I think that's great that you turn this event into something where we can get more information on what people want. Yes, 12 people, but think about some of the statistics y'all have read. when researchers are doing research, they don't interview the whole world.
Right.
They interview a population. So that 12 is representing, let's say, a bigger, scale than you would think. So that's amazing. And I love the things that they shared about wanting to know certain things and even open to interviews. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's get them on
Yeah.
the book. Let's hear from them.
Yeah, that was very encouraging. So excited for that.
Yes. How was the drawing? How did that go?
I actually didn't do it yet because I have been feeling under the weather. I've had migraines since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I went and got all my shots today. So I'm feeling better. But yeah, I've been kind of down low this weekend and spending a lot of time in my bedroom in the dark because my migraines get really, really, really bad when it gets to that level. So I will probably draw tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, take your time. Take care of yourself first. And I really appreciate you hopping on here, feeling the way you feel. But yeah, you got to feel good.
You got it. Well, yeah. And then you just got in traveling too. So I'm sure this was
self-inflicted. Yes.
Yes.
Well, let's hear from our editor. Let's see if he has anything to share. If not, we got to get going.
Got to get gone.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything to say, but it was interesting to hear what you guys have been doing, especially Tammy. I've edited all the dementia videos. I really like them. I'm actually glad she did something like that.
Oh, thank you.
And you can tell like our viewers like it because you're actually interacting with it. So I'm glad she did something like that. I'm just hoping to see what Pauline does to up that. That's about it.
Yeah, I need to up that, Pauline.
Okay, I will accept that.
The challenge.
You got it. I will figure it out. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for all you do for us, editor, cousin.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Been having fun.
Aw, thank you. I think it seems like we are having more fun this season too. I think just getting into the groove of doing this, it's not forced. It feels more natural. We're not so worried about making mistakes. We'll make mistakes and just roll with it. Like, I think we've come a long way. So I know I'm having a little bit more fun than I was initially.
Yeah, I'm definitely having more fun. I feel less stressed about it. Yeah, it's still stressful in a different way. I think we're able to produce more because we found our rhythm. And it tells you a lot for us to even come here on this live. And again, texting before, like, what are we even going to talk about? When should we get on? It's like, at this point, skip the dress rehearsals. You got to show up sometime.
Yeah.
And here we are. So I think we're feeling better about ourselves. I think like you did a thing on imposter syndrome, which I appreciate that.
Ooh,
I think part of it for me, what makes it hard or makes it hard sometimes is I do feel that. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm the right person to be talking about these things. And I've even talked to my cousin or our editor about certain things. He's like, hey, you should go on this show. And I'm like, I don't think I'm the right person for this thing. He's like, well, why? You're a mental health therapist. You are the right person. I'm like, I don't know, and kind of dismiss it. So that's part of it for me.
Yeah. That episode, it was right after I I recorded that right after B was saying we need you guys to be a little more vulnerable or whatever. And so we just had excuse me, we had just installed the hot tub and I was feeling really heavy about feeling I remember having a client saying a couple things, and my degrees is behind this client on the wall, and what he was talking about was imposter syndrome. And I remember looking at my degrees and I'm like, people don't know that therapists or regular people feel this way too. And I'm like, I was hiding that because I felt like it was going to make me a bad therapist if I like talked about that because I still feel really icky about all of that, and I talk about it in the video. But initially, the video was just a test to see if I could do something like that. And then after I watched it, I was like, holy crap, even though I say a hot mess, it was very authentic, and I really released a lot of stuff. And I still, to this day, I'm better, but I still struggle with it daily. The imposter syndrome, it is for real. But if it wasn't for me encouraging that, it never would have happened. And I think the growth that I had after that with recording just raw videos has really helped me. So our editor B definitely is to thank on that, just the encouragement to do something like that and being vulnerable. It is hard to be that vulnerable and raw, very, very raw.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you for doing that. It's very encouraging. And like, she went for it. She's here. She's not gonna stop. I don't want you to stop.
And she
Yeah,
nailed it.
something. Go ahead.
You
B.
nailed it.
Oh, so something did come out of that video. There is a fundraiser here in town with the pregnancy center, and they have speakers come in for this big event. And somebody watched that video, and they heard my story about being a new mom and all of that. I talked more about my story with that person, and they're like, we have to have you as a speaker because it's very relevant, because I used the pregnancy center after I had a visit with a different agency, and being a pregnant teen was a very, very difficult road for me. And anyway, so they asked me to speak at this benefit. I am nervous as heck, but very honored. And so, yeah, that video kind of prompted that thing to happen. So that's going to be October 15th. Yeah.
That's soon.
That is soon. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, we will talk off screen on, getting some of the jitters out, figuring out what, how you want it to go and visualize it.
This is different. Speaking into a video like this is different than standing up in front of a room of people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. But hey, you manifested this, right?
I think so, yeah.
This is incredible, and I'm so proud of you. And there's so many women out there that need to hear that they are gonna be okay. It is okay. Right?
Right.
Here you are now. Like, no one would believe the background of you. To have gone through all of that.
Not to minimize it, but we all have stories. We're a collector of stories, as I like to say, as a therapist. Everybody has stories. That's my story. You have your story. Our editor has his story. Everybody who watches our videos, they have their struggles and their stories and how they've overcome too. So it's interesting. I mean, it's a commonality. It's a thread between all of us that we have struggles, and we're going to overcome it. We might not know how we're going to do it in the meantime, like in the midst of it, but on the other side, looking back, it's like, man, I did that. I overcame that, and lots of learned lessons along the way.
Yes. Yes. I am grateful for you, sis.
I'm grateful for you too. We need to get together more.
Yes. We will figure it out. We need to just schedule some stuff for 2023. And I only have 2 weddings next year.
Wow, so that's not very many. For you.
That's not very many, but they are back to back.
It's because she's getting old. Everybody's already married.
Now we just need her to get married.
Okay, so thank you. This is where the episode ends. No,
do you remember that one video where I held up, how is she single? I ran into that video the other day. I'm not even sure how, and I laughed my butt off.
I can give you a long list of how that was going on. Yes, I can do that. But that's funny. Yeah, no, the friends that are getting married this time are friends I went to high school with. So
Oh.
it's now that. That's very interesting. We are older, getting
Mhm.
older, and I totally embrace my age. And that's just where we are. I tell my mom, "Oh, mom, so and so is getting married." She's like, "Oh, I remember." So it's like all the kids that she's seen in band and stuff like that. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
we're
that's fun.
like, yeah, mom, it's happening. We're to that point in our lives now. We've held
Yeah.
on long enough.
Mhm.
Oh, well, anyway,
That's cool.
um, thank you to everyone who tuned in for this live. It's going to be available for you to watch on our channel, of course. And we cannot do this, what we do, without you. And we sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. If that message doesn't come across, I'm saying it now. We
Absolutely.
sincerely appreciate it because there's so much information that we have that we want to share, and you give us that space to do that. And so, thank
Mhm.
you for tuning in and giving us a listen. And we will come back in another month with a live. But for now, stay tuned. Today we dropped a new episode. And then we're gonna drop another episode for the Dementia Diaries on Friday. And then probably Sunday we'll have something random. Don't know yet, but either way, you're set for the rest of the month, and we'll see you in October with some fresh new episodes and continue our segment, and we'll do another live.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.